Good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. I am your host, Stacy Brown. Oh, we can't hear you, Niele.
There we go. Peace and
There
love.
we go.
As Stacy said, I'm Niele, your co-pilot, and come on in. We got a lot of headlines for you. I'm talking about Kamala Harris. A music giant steps down, and the rapture may be upon us. That's true. Uh,
Well,
the show.
is that why Danielle Pierre's asking, has the rapture happened yet?
Yes, details coming up
Oh,
for sure.
okay. Okay. Well, first, let's turn to our producer and director and see what she has in store for us this morning.
Hey, Jimmy Kimmel's back tomorrow. So ABC announced today that tomorrow Jimmy Kimmel's show will be back. Guess why that happened? Can everybody guess why that happened? If you don't know why that happened, stick around. I'm going to tell you. If you think you know why that happened, you can comment now and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. So it's because every fucking body canceled their Hulu and their Disney Plus subscriptions. Now, me personally, I don't watch TV, and that includes Jimmy Kimmel. I don't watch shit. I watch no TV at all. It's just not my thing. But my family does, and my kids watch Disney, and my wife watches Hulu. I think even my kids watch Hulu. But my family, as soon as that bullshit happened, we canceled our Disney and our Hulu. You can bet your sweet ass on that. And what happened was they lost $4 billion. That's a four with a B. B as in Bravo. They lost $4 billion of capital because we all collectively said, yeah, fuck you. That's censorship. So we quit. And so, in response to losing $4 billion, they were like, "Hey, we're joking, we're joking. He's back tomorrow, guys." It was a, it was a quick little thing, but he's back. It was a fling. He's back. We were on a break. Do you remember the Friends episode? We were on a break.
We're on a break. We were 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 on a break.
They were just on a break. So anyway, he's back tomorrow, and I need everybody to understand the power that we possess in this capitalist hellscape. We possess the power of the purse. Every time that Donald Trump and his bullshit ass, fascist ass, Klan ass, white supremacist ass minions do some bullshit.
He's just going in. But Neil, I know you're gonna have more on the Jimmy Kimmel situation later in the show.
Yeah, but I
I,
love Jolly. I do love Jolly. I hope I see him when I get to DC. I love to run upon him and ask him a few questions.
I, you know, he's talking about how everybody's said, enough is enough. I wish they said enough is enough on some other stuff, on a lot of other stuff, but we'll talk about more of that later. But the Supreme Court yesterday allowed the president to fire a lone Democrat on the Federal Trade Commission, overturning a lower court's ruling that had temporarily reinstated Rebecca Slaughter. The case revives a 90-year-old precedent, which was called Humphrey's Executor, which prohibited presidents from removing FTC members except for cause. That 1935 decision shielded independent agencies from political pressure, but this court has said that now it will take that up too, and that it will probably overturn it, which will give this president greater control of regulatory bodies. Now, the Congress, Neo, generally had control of this, and now the Supreme Court is going to put it all in the president's lap.
Yeah, I mean, talk about showing how you yield your power. And I think that's one thing that this president has truly taught us is that most people went along with the office of the presidency, but he is testing all the powers of the presidency. And that's the one thing that, we see. when we had the first Black president, we saw that he probably should have tapped that gas a little more. And a little harder, and so unfortunately we are stuck with the transformation of our country. We're known as the Great Experiment, and as we see, the experiment is still being tested, and we'll see where we end up, Stacy.
Yeah, Dr. Joni says SCOTUS now makes her permanently nauseous, and we no longer have 3 equal branches of government. That it's true. It's everything is consolidated. This is why people are using that word authoritarianism, and I just say dictatorship. So I
Yeah,
mean,
it's all of it. It's all of
yeah.
it. It's a pot of trashy stew, or gumbo. Gumbo is just all of it, right? Anything that is horrible, horrific, against people of color. I mean, you could throw so much junk into that pot, and call it the Trump gumbo.
And generally, gumbo is good, by the way.
Right, right.
But there are extenuating circumstances, obviously. Popular screenwriter Alex O'Keefe, an award-winning writer known for FX The Bear and for his work as a speechwriter for Senator Elizabeth Warren, was pulled off an MTA train to Connecticut because a white woman complained about his posture. This is a true story, folks. This woman sat there and told him she didn't like his posture, and she raised the fuss, and the police came aboard and they detained him. They took him off, and he continually, and I guess we don't have the actual video, but I saw the video, and he continuously what are you arresting me for? What? And the first thing, this is the thing, Niele and others. It was a woman police officer among them, and she kept saying, and all he was doing was sitting there, and she kept saying, "Stop resisting! Stop resisting!" When they do that, that means that they have shown that when they start saying that, they're ready to kill you, or at the very least tase you, but most likely shoot you. That is the code word for let's shoot them.
And as a Black man, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, as a Black man, I'll take your word for that. And I just, when we were talking about what was happening to our brown brothers and sisters when it came to immigration, a lot of us felt like, okay, it's them today, it's us tomorrow. And I think we are waking up to tomorrow. And so now we see that it's happening to us too.
Yeah, this guy was simply riding the train.
I was sitting on a train, and you're trying to arrest me for what? Can I not even know what you're trying to arrest me for? Because a white woman, this white woman, resisting what? Am I being arrested? Train put handcuffs on them. I guess we're used to it. She was talking about you. They don't know. They just pointed. They just saw the black guy and they arrested me. 11220.
So they took him off the train, and after a little while, they did release him, and it just totally ruined his schedule, his day, and I'm sure it did a lot more harm to him, and all because this was like an old biddy Karen too, and she was sitting there, and there was a picture of her. Yeah, there she is. With a mask on, just really straight out of Jim Crow stuff.
Yeah, it's Orange G said, please don't use Trump and gumbo like that.
Just the unseasoned chicken mixed with raisins.
Okay, so we'll just do the raisins in the potato salad. Okay, it's like a bad batch of raisins in the potato salad. But no, seriously, this is the direction that we're going backwards. We're going backwards to Jim Crow days. And this all goes back to y'all didn't want the black lady. I mean, and we might sound like a broken record, But every time we see what is happening to this country, that's all we can think about, especially for those of us who really, put our hearts into supporting the Black woman, understanding and being frightened by what would happen if the Black woman didn't get elected. And so
It's,
now we're in that space.
it's ironic. You said going back, and what was one of former Vice President Kamala Harris's slogans? We're not going back. And she kept saying that the whole during her campaign. We're not going back. And folks, we're going back. And by the way, RNG says that the cop yelling "Stop resisting" was looking for a reason to unalive the Black man.
Yeah, and I think that that's part of the trauma that you two gentlemen and in general Black men feel, even if you haven't been pulled over by the police or subject to dealing with them. You still understand what it feels like because you've seen it happen to so many other Black people. So I don't even think that white folks understand the trauma that we as Black people feel, even if we haven't been assaulted or pulled over or involved in any type of police situation. The trauma is still there because we've seen it so many times. And I think that's why people don't understand of other races. It's like Black people are always complaining. You're always trying to take us backward. No, because we know what that's like.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always, like you say, even for those who haven't been pulled over and harassed, there's always that possibility every single day, every time you get behind the wheel, every time you're walking, because you could go to Starbucks. We've heard it: Starbucks while Black. Walking while Black. This while Black. That while Black. That's why white folks can never fully appreciate the trauma. They can never
or
fully appreciate being Black.
understand or relate
what we go through. Yeah.
Well, yet they just don't. I think that George Floyd was a glimpse because they actually seen it with their own eyes that man had no reason to lose his life for whatever was happening on that tragic day. And so that's why George Floyd is so important to us and to this nation, because you actually saw it with your own eyes. Going back to Emmett Till, because his mother made that hurtful decision to show what they did to her son, it made an impact across this nation. And so, the allies and white folks in general, they could never relate because it's in that trauma from slavery, that trauma from civil rights, it still lives with us today.
And that's why it's doubly aggravating and hurtful to some when we see the house Negroes doing what they do. It really is. When you see somebody Black supporting this stuff, it just that does also take you back. It takes you back to your history books, that ones that they're trying to erase and get rid of. It takes you back to the fact that there's always been somebody willing to buck dance. It's always shuck and jive. So it is, and it doesn't matter, as this individual who I don't know what your real agenda is, but continues to say, well, she wasn't Black. It doesn't matter. It could be a Chinese midget would have been a better choice than what we have.
Chinese midget.
It's like it doesn't
Are you
matter.
talking about North Korea? Oh, Chinese. No.
I mean, this dude, I assume, says Kamala Harris is not Black. She is Asian. It does not matter.
She's Black. See, that's another thing. Like, come on, y'all. That woman is Black.
Right.
I mean, and
she gets pulled over.
She
gets pulled over. That cop is seeing a Black woman.
But look at how they treated her. Look at the names they called her. They treated her like a Black woman. And that's the one thing that you Republicans, or you guys are trying to come for her. You can't take that experience away from her. She was treated just like a Black woman. So you could say that she was not Black, but she was and she's still treated like a Black woman to this day. So don't even go there. She was
Right.
treated like a Black woman. And so you can't take that experience away from her. And she grew up in Oakland in a Black experience. One of her parents was Black, and her mother was a person of color. I mean, and so they experienced the Black experience in this country. You can't take that away from her. But that's part of what white people do. Like you say, they find a few, they wind them up like a toy doll,
Yep.
pull the string, wind them
Yep.
up, pull the string, and then they don't even realize that they just yap it.
Yeah.
But to discredit her experience and how she's been treated, you know, that's like totally disrespectful, guys.
I mean, it's ridiculous. People get so political they can't see anything else. Anything else. Mike V says there's something called the one drop rule that applies to the vice president. Vice President
Dr.
Harris.
Mellon says, shout out to the midgets. Well, we
Midgets.
don't call them midgets anymore. We call them
Little
little
people.
people.
Right. All right. So Chinese little people. So, and Dr. Jones says, and there is very much a truth that is genetic trauma from ancestors lives on and lives on in bodies and is passed down through the ages and generations. VP Harris is absolutely a Black woman. And Orangey says, if those people don't believe VP Harris is Black, they are a 21st century minstrel show.
Right. But
there you go.
But check this out though. She's Black when they want her to be Black, right? When they want to pick her apart because of, you know, she went to a HBCU, or because, you know, they want to spin it and say, oh, she's a Black woman and she's a district attorney and doing that. She's a Black woman then. But then she's not a Black woman when she's excelling and thriving in Black excellence. So it's even picking and choosing when they decide to want to make her a Black woman. Because sometimes for white folks, or even this, you know, the Black Republican, she is a Black woman.
Yeah. And then many are mad because she has a white husband.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you can't always blame that on the fact that she was only looking. She may have been looking for. In fact, she's dated Black men before, right? I mean, look,
Montel Jordan was one. No, not Montel Jordan. Montel, what was the talk show host? Montel Williams.
Right, right. And she happened to find somebody who was white that she fell in love with. You can't help who you fall in love with. It's that simple. So just give it a rest. And I know that that's not the big issue. The big issue is that the real issue, Niele, and you pointed out already, simply is that she's a Black woman. That's the real issue.
Yeah.
And folk, even Black men, there are too many Black men, not all, but too many, who don't want to see a Black woman succeed. That's just as simple as that. Simple as that. And we'll make excuses. And then you got the jealous factor, Janet Jackson getting on, using her platform to say that, I heard she's not really. Shut up. You know,
I mean, well, people could say, I heard that that's not really your original nose, but we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there.
100%. 100%. And speaking of the former vice president, she dropped today. Her book, it drops today. And her raw account of the shortest presidential campaign in modern history is on display. Instead of recognizing the weight of her story, here we go. We got a modern day minstrel show named Stephen A. Smith, who went on national TV. So who cares what she has to say at this moment? He says, he goes, her political career is over. That's the best he could offer in commentary about her in this moment. Everybody else does books. Every former president, just about every former vice president, they all do books. And this is what Stephen A. Minstrel Show Smith had to say.
Well, I mean, who cares what he has to say?
Right.
You know, on the flip side, I don't even watch Stephen A. Smith. And it's funny because my cousin is a producer of his show. So it's just it. But I don't care what that man has to say. This book, I'll tell you one thing. Kamala Harris knows how to tease something out and get people ready to read those turning pages, because one of the things she said in the book, Kamala Harris said, She called Gavin Newsom for an endorsement after Biden's exit, but he brushed her off with a short text. She said the Governor Newsom replied, "Hiking, we'll call you back," and never followed up. Now, this is interesting because we always thought that they were close pals, right? And at one time, when she was a California lawmaker, the state attorney general, and the district attorney in San Francisco, they were very close. But I found this point to be very telling because we know that Newsom has ambitions to be president. And so it seems like what she's telling us is that when she began to step into that space, a lot of white folks began to, turn their nose or, step away because he didn't even want to see her as president. That's what it sounds like to me. And she's airing it all out.
Yeah, exactly. And she has every right to. It's her story. As Dr. Marilyn also mentioned, they criticized Jasmine Crockett for being too black. So it's crazy how black women are demonized. But again, when black women speak, someone will always try to shout them down. That is really the point. That's really where I'm coming from. And Orange says y'all are both correct. Stephen A. Smith is a minstrel show, and who cares what Stephen from Django Smith says? He says I don't watch his show, and Nancy
see,
Wall says he just wants attention.
Right. And the thing about it is, like, I don't watch his show, so it doesn't bother me. But you don't see me talking about this man and dragging him, and I think that's where, as a nation, we're losing it. But back to this book, I get the frustrations of her 107 days. But my question is it the right time? Being that the Democratic Party has so much chaos, so much instability, so much, negative thoughts about it, is this the right time for her to air out the DNC's dirty laundry?
Well, that's a good point. It's a good point. But if the DNC and the Democratic Party was doing what they were supposed to be doing all along, then they wouldn't have this to worry about either. So, you, as they say, you make your own bed, and they made this bed, and no reason why she can't. She has to put her life off because they continue to screw up.
And I get that, but I'll push back a little and say, when she was the darling face of it, all this stuff was still happening, and she was right along with it. Didn't have no problem with it. All of the talks about everything that we're talking about now was still happening, but she was ready to, take the reins because they had given her the crown. You see what I'm saying? So it was okay when you were in the White House, it was okay then, but now it's not.
But her book seems to suggest that it wasn't okay then. But she didn't have.
It wasn't okay.
No, that's a point. That is a point. But they never really. But and that's the question too. Greer asked the question. I was going to say it. They never had her back, right?
No, they didn't.
Never had her back.
No, they didn't. But she was okay with that as long as they gave her the opportunity. Right? She was okay with being the face of the DNC. She was okay with being the face of knowing that all of these problems that are happening now were happening back then, but she was willing to protect the party because they had given her what she always wanted, an opportunity to be the forefront runner for the Democratic national ticket for the presidency. So she was okay with all the bullshit that we're talking about now. She was okay to push back on us and say, no, this and that. But now it's different. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just asking the question, is now the time?
Well, Dr. Joni says she watched the interview with Rachel Maddow, and she told Maddow, and now we're getting other stuff, but she says there's things that need to be said for now is when the DNC and the Dem Party need to hear things that needs to change. She took a lot of personal accountability for what happened, is what Dr. Joni says.
Okay.
Okay. And that's what they say about her book, though. We highlight all of the more sensational things, but at least what the publisher put in the notes was that she took a lot of accountability. But look, when you read it, if you read it, you'll draw your own conclusions.
Well,
I don't have
Shonda,
any plans to read it.
Shonda H said, no, it's not the right time. She has the right to tell her story. However, it comes off a little selfish minded. I still like Kamala Harris, though. She knew what she signed up for, accepting the VP bid. That's kind
Yeah.
of where I'm at with it. Love her to death. I'm probably going to read the book. But I just feel like it now is now the right time. Is now the right time. Now you want to be a disruptor? You didn't want me. It was people was asking you to speak up for the Palestinian people. People was asking you to do the right thing. Like that could have been a whole pocket of voters she could have had. But she decided to go with the party. When everybody was yelling in the DNC, when everybody was like, talk about Palestine, talk about the Palestinian people, she decided to side with the DNC. That could have been votes for her. She could be president. So, in hindsight, maybe she's being reflective. My question goes back to, is this the right time?
Well, Aquarius says that it's time to, yes, it is the time. She says, speak your truth. And we hear that a lot. Speak your truth, speak your truth. But for some people, I guess it doesn't necessarily apply to. And look, Miss Perry says, better late than never.
Yeah.
So and then again, I hate even uplifting anything this guy has to say. He says two things that are really, if you he claims to be a foundational Black American. He claims to
Who are
be
you
a Black
talking about?
person. Big Cheese
Okay.
claims to be so he goes, her campaign was a disaster because she did a few interviews and her word salad speeches. So you as a Black man is okay with Trump speeches over this Black woman. I get it. Kamala Harris, he says, had no solution for inflation and the high cost of housing. So again, you as a Black man felt that this Black woman didn't have the solutions for inflation and the high cost of housing, yet you're okay with the white man saying, go back to slavery. I get
But
it. That's what being a foundational Black American to you is all about.
But the funny thing is, like the most thing that what you just said, text what I walk away with, he was saying about how she did a couple interviews and it was horrible. Trump goes on an ignorant tangent every day. Every
Every
day
minute
he
of every
says
day.
something stupid, okay? Uneducated, unfounded. At least Kamala Harris, read her press briefings every day. She
Right.
read what was happening in all departments of government. Donald Trump doesn't read anything. And that he half of the time he don't even read what the people who are supposed to provide him his notes and talk about. He don't even read that. So I
Mhm.
mean, come on, let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
And I would not use that talking point if I was going to try to go after Kamala Harris. One would not be to compare her speaking
Yeah.
engagements or how she spoke in interviews when your leader
Mhm.
can't even string a sentence together.
Nothing that ever made even the crazy tweets and the all caps and kudos again to Governor Gavin Newsom, who has really shown how ridiculous. Gavin Newsom reminds me what he's doing to Trump on social media. It reminds me again the reason why the All in the Family Archie Bunker was so important.
Mhm.
Because it showed the stupidity. And Gavin Newsom shows the stupidity of these social media. He outs it with Trump.
Right.
Um,
But now I'm starting to look at him. Well, here in California, Black folks have very mixed emotions about Newsom. Okay, tons
mhm,
of tons of
mhm,
mixed emotions. Me, for one, when Kamala Harris went to the White House and she left the Senate, she was the only Black person in the Senate. And so Black women in California felt as if he should have chosen a Black woman to replace her. We were
mhm.
very adamant about that. And it was only fair. Black women had no representation. and he chose to go with somebody else. There are a lot of things that reparations. He's the one that really told Black legislators at the state capitol, I'm not going to sign the bill, or so to say, or they were like, we're not going to pass these bills because we don't know if Newsom's going to sign them. Because Newsom didn't want to have his name attached to reparations because he had presidential ambitions. And so we have a lot of mixed emotions. So when we talk about him, I mean, and then reading about what he said to her, because guess what? When she got the ticket, it made him think, well, she messing up my plans. Because how am I going to go against the incumbent? So, I mean, I love what he's doing. We need somebody to do it. But, you know, white people go white people.
A Black woman police officer is getting recognized for using photographic memory to catch criminals. Officer Cachet Fields doesn't need a computer to catch suspects. She carries their faces in her mind. With the photographic memory, the DC native has helped close robberies, rapes, and homicides, spotting criminals in the crowd and bringing them to justice. How about that? She is their secret weapon in DC. Isn't that something? It takes a who? It takes a Black woman.
It takes a Black. It always. I hate to say. I mean, I love to say it. I love to say it. But I love to say it. But yeah, I think this is great. And I just hope that she's not marked DEI, and you know. And, you know, because there was a lot of good federal workers in the government that they, you know, just, you know, so we just have to pray for people that are in place because you could be brilliant. Kamala Harris was brilliant. She was the most qualified. And they always find a way to take, you know, to take it from you. But not trying to take away this woman's glory, you know. I give her all her flowers and thank you. That's what public safety is. Okay, that's what you call public safety.
That's what you call public safety. Yeah, and she's a Metropolitan Transit police officer. So, and look, she is the computer. How about that?
Okay.
Again, so yeah, Superwoman Mike V. I hope to run into her when I'm in DC. That would be fantastic. Scientists have found, folks, that most people run on autopilot. So if you're thinking about your morning, did you really decide to brush your teeth, pour that coffee, or check your phone, or did it just happen? Scientists now say nearly 90% of what we do each day runs on autopilot. Our brains are wired to let habits take over, from driving to work to scrolling on a screen. That can be dangerous when bad habits rule, but powerful when good ones do. As one researcher put it, quote, good habits may be a powerful way to make our goals a reality. So we gotta, I don't know, Nia. I don't know if I'm on an autopilot like that, though.
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you and we all are. Okay, just your routine of coming to the show in the morning. I bet you it's the same.
It is.
I bet you that it's the same. It's like autopilot. You know, set your alarm, get up. You know, I've been trying to add. I really like this story because I'm thinking about over the past 3 weeks how I've changed some of my habits. You know, like I want to take my vitamins in the morning before I start the show and drink a certain amount of water. You know, I started this new facial regimen. You know what I'm saying? I got my Beyonce sacred hair drops,
oh Lord,
you know, for my edges, and you know, I'm doing that, you know, and I want to incorporate working out. And so that's another thing I want to put in my autopilot list. So like if you could add something to your autopilot list, what would it be? Mine is working out. I want to get that in autopilot. Like get up in the morning, like I take my vitamins, drink my water, make my coffee, sit in this chair. The next step for me, Stacy, I want to head to the gym. Haven't done it yet.
Well, Dr. Jones says, I believe it. She says it's scary how often she has driven to work, a long commute, and gotten to her spot. And what she said, she did not remember a moment of it. That is wild. Mike V says, Neil, you need some yoga.
Well, I know what I need, and I need to go to the gym. Thank you very much. Yoga is good for stretching. I do like yoga for the stretching aspects, but I want to get in there and like just, run for an hour, or something. But that's one thing I want to add to my autopilot list. I want to, after I say goodbye, I want to get up from this chair and head to the gym. Now, I don't know why I told you in the chat that, because they're going to be asking every day, did you make it to the gym? And I'm going to have to say, in my mind, I'm just preparing my mind for it.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Okay. Interesting stuff. What else you got this morning?
Oh, I do. It's my turn already. Okay, so we were talking about the rapture. Okay, so a South African pastor has gone viral after boldly predicting that the rapture, a key belief in Christian is happening today and tomorrow. Now, interview earlier this month, Pastor Joshua claimed that the rapture would take place on September 23rd and 24th, describing it as a divine revelation he received in a dream. He said, the rapture is upon us, whether you are ready or not. He told an African network, adding that he heard God say, I will come to take my church. Now, since then, speculation and humor around the rapture have surged online, making a trending topic on all platforms. So, the funniest one for me was Kev on stage. Kev on stage was giving us updates. Like it's 2:45 tomorrow in Japan. No rapture yet. It's 3:45 in Australia. We're all still here. So, I mean, and this is really taking over all of TikTok and social media, and everybody is like laughing about it, but everybody is looking outside like, are we still here?
Are we still? You start feeling yourself and make sure you're still around.
So Orange G says, you tell a pastor to leave that dope alone.
Oh man.
So be on the lookout between today and tomorrow, because he said the rapture is upon us. And some people probably feel that because everybody says that Donald Trump is the mark of the beast. This is all happening because of Donald Trump. What do they call? He's the Antichrist. That's what they call him, the Antichrist. A lot of our elders think he's the Antichrist. So,
gosh.
And more headlines. Let's head back over to Capitol Hill, where Laura Loomer is throwing disrespectful jabs at Rep. Jasmine Crockett over Crockett's criticism of Charlie Kirk's resolution. And that right there, she said in a tweet on X, it hurts my heart that we have ghetto Black bitches who hate America serving in Congress.
And that speech is okay with them.
But if I say cracker or peckerwood,
here we go.
Now, if I call her a cracker peckerwood bitch, that would be a problem, huh?
Oh my gosh. Things have, and I will say it again because it's a James Brown quote. Things have gotten too far gone. It's just so. Of course, they're intimidated by a strong, outspoken Black woman. There's no two ways about it. And Jasmine pulls no punches, and she speaks truth to power. They always talk about speaking truth to power. There's no one who can say that they do it better than her. And this attack on her is just ridiculous. And she doesn't go around calling folks out, calling them names and stuff like that. She only responds when they come after her.
Yeah, don't come for me unless I send for you, in the words of Nene Leakes. But one of the big issues for me too is how her own colleagues, Democrats, don't protect her. And they have a problem with her. That's a huge issue for me
Mhm.
because I
Mhm.
still haven't seen not one person, and I'm talking about her white colleagues, because basically
Right.
what she was talking about was there was only 2 white Democrats
Right.
that did not vote for this resolution to celebrate a racist. Okay. And a racist that
Mhm.
even came for her in his podcast. Only 2 white Democrats voted against it. That's what she was taking issue with the resolution. And she had every reason to. And none of those colleagues came to her defense or called out or said we need to censure Laura Loomer because of what she said. There's just no, and so going back to Kamala Harris's book, I'm not saying that she's wrong. I think that she's 100% right.
This is, but you know, this is it's so obnoxious. It's sad that this is what we now find ourselves in. That
Right.
they can openly attack a lawmaker, anybody, let alone a lawmaker like this. This is ridiculous.
But where is her allies? And I'm not even talking about the Congressional Black Caucus right now. I'm talking
Right,
about
right,
her white colleagues
right,
that
right,
knows that this is disrespectful. And
right.
we know that there was a time that they would have called her an NB, right?
Exactly, because she might as well, right? Because she's basically was spewing that type of language, and right, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Neil. Not just her colleagues in the caucus, but everybody else. But I also agree with Mike V. Where is Hakeem on this? Where's Hakeem Jeffries? You're the leader in the House. She's a member of the House. You gonna let that stand? You have no response? Got a problem with that too, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's not taking Waldo's spot because we keep asking for Hakeem instead of where's Waldo? Where's Hakeem? Hakeem, we need
Uh,
you.
I don't know that we need him, but
Hakeem, we need him. He is the second in command in the House of Representatives. We need him, and
yeah,
so that's not a jab. It's just where's Hakeem?
yeah. Where is Hakeem? You can't let something like this stand. She can't be the only one fighting against this. She can't.
So Nancy Walls says, I know yesterday we reported that Hakeem and Schumer had requested a meeting with Donald Trump. Nancy Walls saying that they are going to talk to Trump. So I hope that is the case. I don't know what it's going to do, but we need some type of motivation. Give us a soundbite. I hope they go in there, guns a-blazing.
Yeah. Well, Black Ground TV says that Hakeem doesn't know where his loyalties lie, and Stephanie Humphrey says, "I would be surprised if Rep. Jeffrey says anything." Mike V says, "At least give us some more Biggie bars from Life After Death album. That's what Hakeem's
Ah!
famous for." Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But yeah, we
Oh
really need
gosh.
to come behind Jasmine Crockett because yeah, we she speaks truth to power, but let's just also remember that she is a civil rights attorney. So
Hmm.
yeah, she's not just guns a-blazing. She is speaking from an educational background. And those are the type of people that you want in Congress, especially when they have those committee meetings and those
Right.
committee hearings. And people need to be questioned to a level of degree to where the American people can have a sense of accountability. Jasmine
Right.
Crockett is that girl.
Right. 100%. 100%.
So let's move on to Jimmy Kimmel returns tonight, y'all. Now, I was shocked at this. I was very shocked. I didn't think he was
Yeah,
coming back.
I thought he was done.
I
Yeah.
I thought it was stick a fork in him.
Yep.
But the decision to bring him back was approved by Bob Iger, Disney CEO, and Dana Walden, the co-chair of Disney Entertainment. Now, this is according to a person familiar with the matter. The executives acted based upon what was best for the company and not an external factor. So remember, we were talking about Nexstar and Sinclair. That's who they're talking about. And it should be noted that Sinclair owned ABC stations will block Kimmel tonight. until their demands are met. But Nexstar and Hearst will broadcast the return. And of course, their request is for Jimmy Kimmel to donate money and to apologize. Apologize for what? He went after Donald Trump. He didn't say nothing really about Charlie Kirk. He went after Donald Trump. And so, you know, the ACLU sent out the letter. Over 200 actors were in this letter, including Tom Hanks. You know, that people were posting cancel, cancel, cancel.
Yeah.
And I just think that, you know, this was like, to me, what happened, Stacy, was a white on white. We talking about white on white crime. That's exactly what the situation was.
Let me sip on that.
Yeah, because this was an executive thing. White executive. Hey, I got to get this deal with the FCC. I'm trying to buy Tegna. I need for you to, you know, we're canceling Jimmy Kimmel. And what could Disney do? I mean, they were caught in the pickle all of a sudden. But after days of understanding and phone, I wouldn't be surprised if Barack Obama called Bob. Said Bob. Bob.
Oh man,
democracy's at stake. And you know, and he did the right.
oh, did you freeze up on me?
Did I freeze up on you?
One of us froze.
Oh, but so yeah. So the question is, how will Jimmy Kimmel come back tonight?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. You know that as it's going to be a huge ratings night for him. That's for sure.
I'm gonna be watching. I want to know. I want to know.
So the comments, Nancy Wall says that Disney crashed because people were canceling. And Dr. Jones says, I'm thrilled Disney ABC lost $4 billion. That is the role model we need to follow. RNG says, when you lose $4 billion, you will make changes or go broke. This has nothing to do with speech or Kimmel. This was all about the Benjamins. No Diddy.
Yeah.
And Stephanie Humphrey says we have to.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. She says we have to make sure companies lose money. Economics is the only thing they seem to understand.
100%. I totally agree. And I also think they had the pressure. Bob was getting a lot of phone calls too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was
Well,
getting a
again,
lot of phone calls.
As I said earlier, Neil, it would be nice that the energy that was put into this that led to the return of Jimmy Kimmel would be put into some other things that are going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but I think that it's like it's all part of the process. Like, you know, we did Target. We started that boycott, right? I think what we're showing is that people power. You know, at the end of the day, Jimmy Kimmel, Target, it's people power. And the more people begin to see the power that we actually have, hopefully we will begin to start, you know, moving towards a direction to turn this thing around. Because all this says is people power.
All right.
Power to the people, y'all. Now, for all of you guys that love Sin City, Las Vegas, you definitely want to hear about this next story. So Las Vegas is on sale, y'all. Sin City is rolling out a big sales event as the city works to reverse a month-long tourism decline. Now, starting yesterday, the city kicked off its first ever fabulous 5-day sale, offering hundreds of special deals on resorts, entertainment, and food. Now, the sales event comes as Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority reported a 7-month slowdown, with visitors down roughly 11.3% compared to last year. And of course, a huge part of the tourism is people from other countries, right? But because of Trump's immigration, you know, disrespect and policies, people don't want to come to the United States anymore, which is hurting our travel industry. And Las Vegas is a center for the world to come to. I know when I go to Las Vegas, I see and I hear all types of languages and people. It's just not happening. So if you love Vegas, they have really cheap deals right now. So you definitely want to book them within these next 5 days.
Vegas used to have the greatest buffets and real cheap too.
Man, yeah, and everything is expensive now. You know, you have to. You used to didn't have to pay to park. You could just go to the casino and park. They would have $2.50 shrimp cocktails.
Mm.
I mean, it was economical for a family. And now
Yeah.
it's just so expensive.
Yeah.
So head on over if y'all want to go to Vegas. I know I've been looking.
Oh, okay. You got to leave the one-armed bandits alone for a little while.
I love Vegas. And of course, Grambling State University will be playing Jackson State
Oh,
University
that's right.
in Vegas at the end of October. So
Oh, there
I'm
you
booking
go.
my room this week. And last but not least, it's the end of an epic run for Sylvia Rohn. Sylvia Rohn is stepping down as the chair and CEO of Epic after making history as the first woman and first Black executive to lead a major label under a Fortune 500 company. And Cynthia Rohn has been a curator of hip hop, of R&B, and of Black culture through Epic. I
Mm.
mean, she signed people like Missy Elliott, MC Lyte, French Montana, Busta Rhymes. So I think Tyla as well, who's new, to music right now, but she is definitely a legend and icon, right up there with Ernie Singleton, who used to run MCA, Andre Harrell. I mean,
Yep.
and she was she was the GOAT female through it all.
How long you said she was there?
And over 20 years.
Yeah,
Over
yeah.
20. She was there in the
Long
90s.
career.
In the 90s,
Yeah,
so 30,
yeah.
So yeah, she's a giant. And so, we're giving her flowers and really respect the contributions to culture, to Black culture, to Black music, to pop music. And so yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of love is being shown to her on the internet right now.
yeah, good for her. Awesome. All right, folks. Some Black history. On this date in 1957, 9 African American students effected history in such a manner that may forever be known as the Little Rock Nine. They were 9 students who bravely desegregated Little Rock Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. They were finally able to enter the school under federal protection and the authority made possible by the U.S. Supreme Court Brown versus Board of Education ruling that was issued in 1954. The Supreme Court's ruling had made it perfectly clear that laws enabling the segregation of schools were unconstitutional. So, big history day, the Little Rock Nine.
Yeah, I mean, and stories like this are so important right now. As we look at what the Secretary of Department of Education is doing to our education system in this country,
Gosh.
and how they're forcing conservative values. And this is just our response to the 1619 Project. And so Black history is so important. And so if you have kids, start teaching them 1619 Project.
There
We
you
don't
go.
need an education school system to teach us our history. We could do it ourselves.
Yep. There you go. Um, the Black-owned newspaper of the day is the Oklahoma Eagle. The Oklahoma Eagle is a Tulsa, Oklahoma-based media company that publishes news and information, a stout advocate for the African American community and those who champion equity for over 100 years. The newspaper's mission is to amplify our core value of equity through journalism and editorial. So our Black-owned newspaper of the day is the Oklahoma Eagle. Go check them out online. And if you over in Tulsa, they still have some physical copies you can grab. So check them out.
Yeah, for sure. And for the latest in Black news, you want to head over to BlackPressUSA.com.
Absolutely, folks. We appreciate you joining. Let it be known every morning. Continue to support us. We appreciate that so much. And we will see you again tomorrow.